Hello. Thank you for clicking on the links and coming to Back to School Night. We really appreciate you guys being here and checking out these videos. This is government, sophomore government class with Mr. Peer and
I'm Miss Duncan. We're really excited to get to introduce this course to you guys and let you know a little bit about what we're doing with your kids, as well as some information about ourselves.
So again, government class, sophomores registered with Mr. Peer. A little bit about me. I am a duck. I went to the University of Oregon, but I didn't start out in Oregon. I started out at the Gateway to the West in St. Louis, Missouri. Grew up in St. Louis, definitely a Cardinals fan and a Blues fan. Let's not talk about the Rams. Went out to the East Coast for a little while, did some time in New York and Chicago, moved back to St. Louis and decided I want to check out the West Coast. So got in my car and drove the Oregon Trail to get to you guys. When I got here, University of Oregon journalism degree. And after that, I was a brewer for a little while. I worked in a commercial brewing industry for the early aughts, and then switched over to teaching around 2008. And I went to Portland State University. I'm a GTEP graduate of the Graduate Teacher Education Program. Started my student teaching in PPS and never looked back. No interest really in working in any of the other districts. Did my student teaching at Cleveland, which is very interesting because most people don't end up working back at the same building that they started in. After Cleveland, I took a position at Madison. After that, I was at Benson for night school, summer school. I worked at Jefferson for a little while. My first big 1.0 union job was at Wilson, actually teaching social studies, some AP psychology and human geography. But when I saw a job opening at Cleveland 3 years ago over the summer, I jumped at the chance to come back to the neighborhood. I live in the Cleveland neighborhood. I did my student teaching in the Cleveland neighborhood. You guys have been my focus for about 12 years, and the lap is completed. I am back at Cleveland High School. So if you consider substitute teaching, student teaching, and Union 1.0 jobs, I have worked in every high school in the PPS area, including MLC, night school, summer school, many of those things. Aside from teaching, you can often find me outside with the dogs. I am a Mazama. I was a water field instructor at outdoor school at Arowana, so teaching stream morphology and water science and Andromeda's fish. I have been a leader for Post 58, which is a high school mountaineering group, and climbing every high point in the gorge, as well as Hood and St. Helens, gives me the Ranger of Cascadia badge. So that's just a little bit about me, and I'm going to go ahead and pass the mic here. Oh, wait, let's talk about courses I've taught. Throughout PPS, I have taught AP Psychology, AP Human Geography, U.S. History, Modern World History. Government is the semester that we're in right now. In January, the same class will stay. The course title will change to Economics. And I've also taught a lot of the IB History of the Americas course that we offer in the junior year. So if you think about the social studies department in a public school, I think I've actually taught about 80 to 90% of the courses that I'm licensed to teach. So again, a wide variety of background there, and I really enjoy having your students for government. And what a semester to teach government.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you, Mr. Peer. And so I'm Miss Duncan. I am a student teacher from the University of Portland. So that means in addition to teaching government with Mr. Peer, I'm also a college student working on my bachelor's right now and my teaching credentials. So I'm getting a bachelor's of science, secondary education, and history, as well as a Spanish minor. So if there's any Spanish speakers out there, I'd love to engage with that with you. Also, over the last 3 years, I've been in various schools around PPS and just the Portland area, mostly North Portland. So I've done about a semester each of assistant teaching at George Middle School and Ockley Green Middle School, as well as De La Salle North Catholic for about a year and a half. But I am just super excited to be here at Cleveland and get to see a PPS high school. Another thing about me, I studied abroad in Perth, Western Australia last year. So some of these photos here were taken there or in Singapore or different places I traveled. And so I think that'll be an interesting comparison for our topic of government. Later on, your kids are going to look at different countries and those sort of governmental structures. And so I'm excited to bring that lens to the table as well. So speaking of our course, we're going to talk a little bit about our syllabus and expectations of what this course will look like. So here's our Canvas page. The syllabus can be found under the syllabus tab. as well as our meeting link is right there, whether that's Zoom or Google Meets, the link will be right there on the homepage.
Awesome. And I want to go ahead and talk about where you can find the assignments that your kids will do on Canvas. There's an assignments tab here on the left-hand side. And if you click on the assignments tab, you can find all of the assignments I've already given them, which is a lot. As you look through here, you can click on them, and you will find links to the PDFs here at the top, as well as the directions just copy and pasted in a text box there for your kids. And I do have questions just printed out there as well. They will be submitting the homework through Canvas. We are not using Google Classroom. The Meet links and all the things your kids will need to be successful in this course will be found on the Canvas page for this course. I think I want to talk a little bit also while we're here, jump back, talk a little bit about the grading scale I'm going to use in the class. You can see it there on the upper right-hand side. It's a standard A to F grading scale. Below 60 is an F, 90 to 100 is an A. Behind the scenes, I will be doing a lot of proficiency-based work with your children. Things like being flexible on deadlines, allowing time, working with them, letting them redo assignments and things like that. So nothing is ever hard and fast in that sense, and I'll work with your kids on any level. But when I put that grade into the report card so that you parents see it, colleges see it, that kind of things, I will put that grade there in an A to F scale. It's a traditional 4.0 GPA, and so it just looks the same. Currently in Portland Public Schools, I believe there are 9 different ways to grade your children. I will be using the one that is most familiar to parents, colleges, and the neighborhood. I think it ends a lot of confusion. But do know that behind the scenes, I'm working with your kids. I'm always adding extra time. I'm pulling for them. And I'm just spitting the grade back out in a very traditional way so that we can access things like scholarships and so parents understand.
Yes, great. So if you have any sort of questions or comments or concerns throughout this entire year or semester, our official means of communication will be via our PPS emails. They're listed right here. Mine is fduncan@pps.net. Mr. Pier's is npeer@pps.net. So if you could have your child reach out to us via those email addresses, that would be the ideal way of communication.
Absolutely. And during the Wednesday check-ins and asynchronous time, I'm always on these emails. So even though you don't see me live, I do check these inboxes consistently throughout the days during those asynchronous times. So it can function something like a chat back and forth with the kids. So if you're looking for office hours, chatting, things like that, definitely send them through those pps.net email addresses. And I want to say one more thing about the email addresses, and that is, as your students log into these courses, as we are meeting in Zoom or Google Meet or doing assignments online, please make sure we are logged into our @pps.net account. When students use a siblings account or a private Gmail account, they frequently aren't allowed to access meetings. They don't have edit access to documents and things like that. So just to keep everything on the same page this year, we really ask that during distance learning, everyone use the @pps.net emails for logins, meetings, submissions, and communications.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Pierre. Well, so that concludes our Back to School Night video. I am very, very excited to be able to teach your kids and get to know them this semester. Even with the difficulties of distance learning, we're determined to make this the best it can be.
And I want to second that and say that this was no one's ideal semester. We're making the best of it. I do live in the Cleveland catchment area and the Woodstock neighborhood. I walk the dog every day for at least an hour out there, so I see a lot of you guys on the street. Please say hello, wave to me, have your student hang halfway out the car window and yell my name. Whatever it's going to be. I do consider myself the mayor of Woodstock, so please say hello. And it's very hard to get to know each other on the screens. I crave the contact, so say hi when you see me. I am definitely on these streets.
Great. Okay, thank you all. Bye.